So someone wanted me to preview this game. I don't know if it was, I think it was probably a Husker fan, maybe an OU fan, or just someone who thinks that this game will be better than many are saying it is. This game, there's some clouds surrounding it, I would say, as Nebraska was rumored to try to back out of this game last year. The AD of that time sent at Nebraska, I believe Bill Moose, is long and gone. And now Scott Frost here, new AD, was under investigation for possibly violating COVID rules. Think he might still be, not too much reports on that. Is facing off against the well-respected Lincoln Riley in Norman, Oklahoma this Saturday at noon, the 18th of September. Both of these coaches were well-renowned and known in 2017, and fast forward a few years later, Scott Frost is all but kind of an image of disgrace, and Lincoln Riley still has that same respect to his name. I'm going to preview these two teams, give some scenarios revolving around this game, what could happen depending on certain things, and then just give my prediction at the end. Currently, Oklahoma is a 22-point favorite, and according to ESPN's FPI, Oklahoma has a 91.6% chance to win. So, if you're trying to, if you want to guarantee that this is a wire-to-wire game, you're not going to find a guarantee here. I mean, Oklahoma, yes, they were overrated in the preseason. Many thought Rattler was going to win the Heisman, and in the beginning of the year, I was just thinking, he doesn't have the supporting cast that the Alabamas and the Ohio States do to win it, in my opinion. And here we are, and it's not even that's holding him back. It's his own poor decision-making against Tulane that has temporarily put him in a ditch with the Heisman odds. But Nebraska, with that slight 8.4% chance to win, can they pull it off? Let's look at Nebraska's roster. So Adrian Martinez here has thrown for 728 yards and has also ran for 256. So he's almost racked up 1,000 total yards over 3 games. Granted, they are against weaker opponents, but still, Martinez is what I view as the spine of this team. He does something wrong, game over. He has thrown for no interceptions thus far. 4 touchdowns, completed 62.2% of his passes. Every pass that he completes often has 9.8 yards to it, leaving him with a quarterback ranking of 162.6. On the ground, he had that 75-yard touchdown run against Illinois and a total of 3 touchdown rushes altogether. On average, whenever he runs the ball, he runs for 7.5 yards, again totaling to 256 yards. Martinez has fumbled a few times, though, and as we all know, his fumble, quite frankly, along with some poor kicking, cost them the game against Illinois. On the receiving end, you have Samori Toure, who has 306 receiving yards, along of 68, and 2 touchdowns. Oliver Martin follows him with a touchdown and 103 yards. And the next guy with a touchdown is Chancellor Brewington, who has only had 3 receptions for 20 total yards. And your running back with the most yards for Nebraska is Marquise Stepp. 30 attempts for rushing, 128 yards, 4.3 average, and just a touchdown. So those are some key offensive players. And on defense, Luke Reimer leads the team in solo tackles. Nick Henrich leads the team in total tackles. The leader in sacks here is Feldarius Payne, a linebacker. And he's also the leader in sack yards. And the guy with the most interceptions is Deontay Williams, a safety. So just some key players on the defense. Nebraska returned a lot of defensive starters from last year. They have a total of 102 solo tackles, total of 4 sacks. a total of 8 passes defended, 4 interceptions, and only 1 forced fumble that was recovered. So their defense is not doing its greatest job, and this is against teams that are, again, of lower caliber. They face Michigan, who looks like they would run all over Nebraska now. They face Ohio State, who, even though they look a little weak on defense and that game might repeat its 2018 iteration, I would still have much more faith in Ohio State to win that game. And they face Wisconsin and Iowa and Minnesota as well, who I think currently are better teams. So Nebraska's looking to improve itself and get back to a top 25 Aurora, but I don't think that will happen this year, and many are doubting as to whether Scott Frost can do his job properly or not, as seen with the Illinois loss. But now we move on to Lincoln Riley. And Lincoln Riley, far more success. Lincoln Riley has won, I believe, 4 Big 12 titles in a row. 2017, 18, 19, and 20, even when his team at some point was unranked in the 2020 season. He's won 4 Big 12 championships. That's crazy. Now, what I will say is his team has never won the playoff. They're not in Ohio State, Alabama, or Clemson. But Lincoln Riley's a good coach, and he's dominated his rival Texas. He's dominated the Big 12. The most amount of losses he's had in a season is 2, and which is pretty impressive. And he's had 3-12 in 2 seasons. So Lincoln Riley, it's something to be impressed by. And coming into the Nebraska game, it's obvious as to why he is such a huge favorite, especially with the likes of Spencer Rattler, Kennedy Brooks, Marvin Mims, and DeLorean Turner-Yell as some key players, both on offense and defense. Rattler here has thrown for 547 yards, 6 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, a 171.9 QB rating. His 2 interceptions were against Tulane, and I gotta say, that game rubbed everyone the wrong way. Kind of warned people that Oklahoma might be a little overrated, which I think is very proper to do. On rushing, the team is led by Kennedy Brooks, 135 yards to 20 attempts. That, works out to 6.8 yards, an average carry on the ground for 2 touchdowns. Caleb Williams, freshman, 2021 class 5-star recruit, has also ran for 61 yards and a touchdown. Spencer Rattler has ran for a touchdown, but has only rushed for 36 yards for 3 yards on average. Marvin Mims leads the team in receiving yards, 136 receiving yards, no touchdowns though. And on defense, DeLorean Turner-Yell leads the team in total and solo tackles. The leader in sacks is Isaiah Thomas, tied with Perion Winfrey. And the leader for interceptions, the team only has 1, is Bryson Washington. So just pointing out some of those key players there, and along with the fact that Oklahoma scores 24 more points per game than Nebraska and only allows 4.2 more. I mean, you're all expecting Oklahoma to basically walk into its own home stadium and grant their own home crowd the ability to leave a quarter or 2 early from the game because they're up by such a massive margin. But what I'm here to tell you is this can go multiple different ways here. This can go many, many different ways. And I say this because Oklahoma has found itself in the ability to embarrass itself at home against Iowa State and against Kansas State. And Kansas State doesn't look to be in a good situation this year. But Oklahoma has almost has it sometimes carried itself very poorly at home. And Nebraska here has an opportunity to pounce on that. I see this game going 2 ways. Either Nebraska gets into this wire-to-wire with Oklahoma, and at that point either team can win, or Oklahoma comes here and blows out Nebraska. I see no possibility for Nebraska to come in here and really just embarrass Oklahoma on its own home field. And by embarrass, I mean dominate them through and throughout. This is a rivalry game. Oklahoma, over the past decade, has far surpassed Nebraska in talent, coaching, NFL development. Just everything is in favor of Oklahoma here. That plus the home field advantage. I got to give this win to the Oklahoma Sooners here. Boomer Sooner. The Sooners will probably, disappoint at times. But I look at the over. I look at the spread here and just seeing Oklahoma, for some whatever reason, I would take here. I look at this game and I almost don't see here just seeing Spencer Rattler. I want to give this to Nebraska. I want to say that Nebraska will come within 22 points. But in all honesty, it's more likely that Oklahoma will win by 28. That's just my final prediction here. Oklahoma by 21 to 28 points against the Cornhuskers. Unless the Cornhuskers by the half build themselves a decent lead, I don't see how they're coming out of Norman alive. That said, though, some coaches have came in here and embarrassed the Sooners at home as unranked teams, but those coaches, Matt Campbell and Chris Kleeman, have done a lot more at their current school than Scott Frost has. That's all I have to say for this video. If you liked it, like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you can get notifications from my videos the second they're posted and immediately watch them. And again, comment your thoughts down below. Who do you think wins this game? And if you're the average person who says that Oklahoma's going to win, how will Oklahoma win? Will it be a nice, easy ride, or will it be like a wooden roller coaster ride where you wonder if your team is going to fall off the face of the earth or not? Again, like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you around.